Welcome to the AI Research Roundup. I'm Alex. Today we are looking at a paper from the Hugging Face Trending List, published on November 26, 2025, about 2 days ago. It introduces MultiCrit, a new benchmark that stress tests multimodal judges on many different fine-grained criteria and shows that even the strongest proprietary models still struggle to give consistent, criterion-level judgments. The paper is titled MultiCrit, Benchmarking Multimodal Judges on Pluralistic Criteria Following. And as we will see later, the results raise some important questions about how we train and trust models that act as automatic evaluators. Figure 1 shows how MultiCrit turns judging into a multi-viewpoint task instead of a single thumbs-up choice. The left side illustrates one image reasoning example where human annotators say response A is better on some criteria, but response B wins on others, so real trade-offs appear. The center panel lists those criteria explicitly, such as visual grounding and hallucination, and marks which response wins each one. The right table then compares different multimodal judges, scoring how often they get every criterion right, notice trade-offs, and correctly handle direct conflicts. So while Figure 1 illustrated what pluralistic judging looks like, Figure 2 shows how the researchers actually construct the benchmark. The left side gathers prompts and paired responses from several open-ended and reasoning datasets, using many different multimodal models. In the center section, human annotators perform multi-criteria annotation, which means they separately decide which answer wins on each criterion, like grounding or hallucination. On the right side, the pipeline aggregates these labels, detects conflicting preferences, and packages each example into the final MultiCrit benchmark. Table 1 summarizes how large and how conflict-rich the MultiCrit benchmark is. For open-ended prompts, the dataset includes 299 examples, and most of them contain conflicting preferences between criteria. Verifiable reasoning covers 126 prompts, which again mostly show disagreements across criteria, so judges must notice trade-offs. Across both parts, annotators provide 1,425 criterion-level judgments, creating hundreds of conflicting criterion pairs. The final rows show that questions stay relatively short, while responses are much longer and more detailed on average. Figure 4 highlights that different multimodal judges excel on different criteria, so there is no single model that dominates across the whole radar. This radar chart places each criterion around a circle and traces one colored line per model, which makes strength and weakness patterns very clear. For instance, some models spike on efficiency and exploration, but dip on grounding or hallucination control. Overall, the shapes stay uneven, showing that criterion-level behavior remains highly imbalanced. Table 3 spells out how different multimodal judges cope with open-ended prompts, and it shows that pluralistic judging remains tough even for the strongest systems. The overview of the table compares pluralistic accuracy, conflict and trade-off detection, plus per-criterion accuracies like completeness and hallucination. Proprietary models lead across most columns, with O4 Mini reaching about 33% pluralistic accuracy and around 76% completeness. Open source and fine-tuned judge models trail noticeably, especially on conflict and trade-off metrics, which signals weaker sensitivity to nuanced criteria. Alright, wrapping up, MultiCrit shows that judging with many overlapping criteria is much harder than giving a single thumbs up, and even top proprietary multimodal models fall short, especially on conflicts and trade-offs. The benchmark sets a new bar for trustworthy, steerable evaluators of other models. That is it for this episode of the AI Research Roundup. I am Alex. Thanks for listening.